Good morning, everyone, and welcome to a Sunday sermon. Each week, we try to bring you messages of guidance, of love, of faith. We try to bring you messages from all of the great Holy Spirits. And today, we're going to bring you a message from one of the great archangels, Metatron. He's an angel of life, and he specializes in trying to help individuals live a good life. So we've been speaking with him, and he's here with us. So, Metatron, thank you for joining us. Hello, everyone. And yes, life can be very, very difficult. As we watch from over here, we try to understand what is taking place among humans, and we try to help. There are many, many archangels. There's many, many thousands of regular angels that are available to help you. Even though we are available, many people just refuse to ask for our help. Many people think they know it all and can make their own decisions and can go out and be very successful and hurt others, do what they want. But then as they approach that final time, they realize that they made many mistakes. As an individual grows older, it's not uncommon that we'll hear their prayers. All of a sudden, they decide that maybe God really does exist. And they'll pray to us and they'll say, "Oh, we made a few mistakes, but if you forgive us, we'll be fine." Well, those few mistakes add up. When you make a mistake, your guides know what's taking place. They understand. Everyone makes mistakes. That's part of the learning process of life. But learning is supposed to be the biggest part of the process of life. Do you learn from your mistakes? That is one of the most important things that we expect of a human, that they learn from their mistakes and don't continue to make them. Well, many people go out and every day they make the same mistakes because some of them really think they know more than God, that they can make their own decisions and they can do a better job of it than if they ask God for help. Well, that's another mistake, and that's one they make, oh, so many times. When they come close to the end of their lives, then we start hearing from them. They pretend that they learn from their mistakes, but they don't really. They think that they can mislead. They've misled all their lives, so why can't they mislead us, the angels, the guides, even God? Many people think they can lie to God. Well, that is their biggest mistake. You see, God knows his energies are not something I can describe to you, and I have a lot of knowledge in many areas, but his knowledge is so great and his abilities that I can't even describe them to you. And I've known him since creation, billions of years. And I am limited in what I can tell you about what God can really do. I've seen him do things that I am amazed at. Recreating the universe, getting along with all of the other galaxies, all of the things, all of the things that you imagine a God can do, and ours really can. You see, he sends humans back with great expectations. He figures that there will be a time that they learn from the mistakes. Now, this alone tells you that God is very patient. Because as you look back at history of humans, you see that they really haven't learned much through the years. Oh, technologically they have. They know how to make supercomputers. They're beginning to advance into space. They're learning technical things. But are they learning the things that will really help guide them? Will they stop making the same mistakes that they've made throughout time? Will they stop electing leaders that will only take advantage of them? Will they stop drawing away from God? Will they stop as their technologies grow, thinking that they can prove that God really doesn't exist? Because that is a fool's errand. You will never be able to prove that he doesn't exist because he does. The simplicity of proving his existence is simply opening your eyes. Look into the mirror. It's a miracle that you are standing in front of that mirror. You started from 2 simple cells, and look at you. You got billions of them. Some you don't use very well, but some you do. So you are a miracle. Each person, each human is a miracle. Each animal is a miracle. They form the same way from single cells. Look at the planet around you, the beauty, the mountains, the trees, the oceans. All of the things that God provided so that you can exist. There's no way you could not exist, for instance, if the moon didn't exist. So the moon is what creates the tides and the life in the ocean. So there are so many miracles. Do you think all of this taking place around you was an accident? Well, maybe you're foolish enough to think maybe Satan did it. Well, now that would really make you stupid. The concept of Satan is a terrible concept. Yet there are fools out there that actually worship the concept of evil. Now, where do you think that's going to get them when they die? Well, it's not going to help. Let me just simply leave it at that because it's so obvious that they are going against the wishes of God. And when you go against the wishes of God, you're going to find out. You're going to find out that there's a concrete wall out there that you run up against, and that is God. You will be reminded, maybe not sooner, but later, and that later is when you die. Death is something that comes to everything, everyone. Every living organism has a time span, and each living organism, whether it be minutes, years, centuries, will die. Now, you've heard from other channelings that there are individuals on other planets that have learned to live under God's rules, and they live extremely long lifetimes. A long lifetime is the reward for learning from your mistakes. If you don't learn from your mistakes and keep making them, God has created death. It's like a lasso around humans where he can jerk them back into heaven, where he can have a conversation and point out the mistakes. If you don't make a lot of mistakes, quite often you're rewarded with a longer life. If you're helping others, he wants to give you more time to help others. If you're harming others, then I wouldn't ask for him for an extension of life. I think you're kidding yourself. Of course, if you don't believe, you won't ask until you get close to death, then you will. We hear almost everyone, as they are approaching death, asking for more time. Why would we give an evil person more time? That doesn't make sense, does it? You see, a human life is nothing but common sense. You hear our Lord talk of that in every message he gives you. He tells you to use your common sense. So if you're living a life of evil, does it make common sense for you to ask for more time so that you can do more evil and hurt more people? Common sense. Don't even waste your time asking. It's not going to happen. Many people pray for things that they can't have. Many people live lives of evil and then ask for more time or better health so that they can extend their lives. They're not going to get it. That's not the way life works. It's not the way God works. God rewards those who serve him. It's that simple. If you don't serve God by living a good life, then he's not going to reward you. When you return, your guides are not going to reward you. Why would they? You've hurt so many other people. So they're going to place you in a level where you are with people that hurt other people. Does that make sense? Everything about heaven and human life makes sense. Now, heaven is incomprehensible, so I guess it doesn't make sense to anyone that can't understand it, and nobody can understand it. So maybe heaven doesn't make sense. Maybe its complexities are something that you have to wait to understand. Oh, maybe God wanted it that way. He tells you just enough about heaven for you to understand that you really want to go there and that you want to live a good life so that you can advance in his heaven. But the mysteries of heaven will remain until you go there. The mysteries of life, you will not understand them until you return to heaven. And then, depending on the level that you're in and how you've lived your life and all the good that you've done, you will see things so much differently, and you will truly understand. When you get over there, you will probably understand why humans keep screwing up. They have to make mistakes so that they can learn, but they don't have to learn from their mistakes. Sadly, that's the conundrum. Humans, they're special. They find so many ways that they can make mistakes, unique ways. We watch from over here, and we would really like to shake our heads. As you know, we're energy, so we don't really have heads. But if we had them, they'd be rotating around at 360 degrees from all of the stupid things that humans are doing. You know what one of the most stupid things humans do is? War. In war, they kill each other. Now, why would they do something stupid like that? They're cutting their lives short. They're not enjoying their families any longer. They're doing all of these things. Some people aren't killed, they're maimed. Some people live terrible lives after they're being wounded in war. Does that make sense? War does not make sense. Can we at least agree on that point? If you're waging war, you're sending others. The leaders very rarely get close to a battle line and take a chance on them getting killed. That would be a mistake for them, wouldn't it? But it would really help for the war, because probably the war would end because this fool has been killed. The fools that command wars and create them have great security around them because they're living in fear every day that somebody's going to kill them. Well, that would be the best thing that could happen in most cases, but it doesn't. Sometimes political systems are so evil and ingrained that there's just somebody else that will replace this fool. And another fool takes over and he says war is a good thing and I'm going to conquest my neighbors and I'm going to take their lands, and off we go again. Understand history. Understand the history of humans. If you do that, you will see how humans keep making the same darn mistakes. Angels aren't allowed to swear, or I would have used a stronger word. Humans are so adept at making mistakes. Why do they do this thing? Oh, free will. Everyone blames free will. But do they blame common sense? Because if you have common sense, you won't keep making the same mistakes. One of your most brilliant geniuses, said you are a fool if you keep doing the same thing and expect different results. You must change the way you live your lives. That is how you will live longer lives. That is how you find happiness. Love and coexistence. A show does not go by where you don't hear those words. You always hear, don't do anything you don't want done to yourself. Do you want war waged on you? No. Then why do you do it? Do you want violence waged upon you? No, because it hurts and you don't want it. So why do you do these things to others? That is the great mystery that humans have yet to solve. I think I'm going to refer to it as the mystery of common sense because they don't follow it. You have a conscience. Now, I'm not going to try to explain that. You got to understand your own conscience. But quite often you understand that what you're doing is wrong, but you still do it. Your conscience is what told you not to and you ignored. So there you go again. Thousands of years, humans have ignored their consciences. Humans are very complex creatures. As we watch from over here, sometimes we are so proud of those who go out and help others and do good. And then we watch those fools that cannot do good. All they want to do is hurt others. They want to get more political power. They want to have more money. Do these fools think they're taking it with them to heaven? No. Every penny is left behind. Trust me when I tell you this. You are not taking money to heaven. You may be the richest man in the world, but when those eyes close the last time, you are penniless. Why do you work so hard to get something that you can't take with you? But it's so easy to work upon how you live your life. And that is something that you do take with you. The experiences of living a good life is what you take with you to heaven. That's your money. That's your soul money. Your common sense and your activities, the way you live your life, the way you help others, the way you coexist, the way you don't see any differences when you look at skin colors or hear different languages. That is your soul investment. That should be your only real investment. Now, we don't want you to be living on the streets. We want you to have a nice life. It's fine. Make a good living. Support your family, educate them, take great vacations. But always be aware of those around you. Always be thinking about how you could help them, what you could do to make their lives better. Then you are truly rich with your soul investment. That's all that counts. Your soul has the everlasting life. Your human life is a blink. Your soul energies have been around forever. And your human life, it's an instant. It is a blink of the eye in the life that your soul has lived. And your soul investment is what determines when you're in heaven. And that's where you are most of the time. A soul will spend most of its time in heaven and return for short periods for learning experiences. That's what a life is. How you use that life is the most critical thing that you will ever have. You must live a good life. You must love others. You must teach the young love. Do not ever teach the young hatred. You see, that's why humans are in the box that they're in. Because the young have been taught to hate. And the haters create the wars. The haters turn away from God because hatred is not part of his words. You'll hear him speak against hatred. But Jesus did not even know hatred when he walked the earth. He had every opportunity, especially when they nailed him on the cross, to hate. But he still loved. He set the primary example of what a soul can do. Follow his example. Love everyone. And you will be making the greatest investment you could ever make. The one for your soul. Your soul, it's hard to explain. Your body is very easy to explain. It's a mechanism that falls apart after years. And when it falls apart, your soul remains, as it always has, and as it always will. So look in the mirror and think about how you've lived your life. Think about how much money you have in your soul account, because that's the one that really matters. Think about how you want to spend the rest of your days, how you want to invest in that soul account as much as you can. So thank you so much. I always enjoy coming back. I try to look at things a little differently. Maybe I've hit a soft spot with you today. I hope so, because I want your soul energies to be so great when you return that we are there to welcome you and we say, you have lived a good life. God is proud of you and welcome to heaven. Goodbye. Thank you so much. That is quite an energy. I hope you're all feeling it when he's speaking to you like that. That was a great message. He really knows. He knows what he's speaking about. He's seen humans since they were single cells. My book, Jesus, the Missing Years, is very important. It tells the message of Jesus in his true life and what took place. If you've read any of the books, please leave reviews. It's one way of spreading God's words, believe it or not, because people read those reviews and others buy it and listen to the words. So thank you so much for listening. I enjoy bringing you these incredible messages, and I hope you're enjoying them as well. Leave a comment, tell others about it. That's how we advance and reach more people. Goodbye. Thank you so much for joining us. See you next week. We will try to be here.